Hey guys, how's it going? Just checking the levels, making sure everything looks alright. Looks pretty okay from my side, but let's just go ahead and get to it, I think. Let's see, welcome back. This is episode 27. 27. And we are going to be picking up with Leah and crew. And I'm trying a slightly different layout on my end, so apologies in advance if things are a little weird for this stream. So I'm trying to declutter a little bit of my space so I can focus a little bit more on the stream part and less on moving stuff around. Doing that. Before we jump into it, let's go ahead and get the recap from last episode. That's session 26. So, at the start of session 26, we're getting ready to leave Carjuntan. We were getting ready to circle up all our people and get them out of there, because we have learned that Carjuntan is no longer a safe place for Leah, Omer, probably not Delg, who else? Aeolus, Arias' secretary, and we also learned that it's not safe for Imbar either. So, we are getting out of there. Well, I have a misspelling. So yeah, that was sort of the start. So at the beginning of the last session was like, was there anything last minute things that we need to do in Carjuntan before we hit the gates and got the heck out of there? So what we ended up doing is we bought a scroll of silvery barbs because we had some gold, and we needed a little bit more help in sort of the combat area as far as spells go. So I thought that we had a few other choices of things that we could pick up, but ended up going with silvery barbs just to sort of, if nothing else, sort of negate some crits, which will be nice. And so we did that, was able to do that. We haven't, well, I guess probably Leah has probably transposed that now. Now that we've had that rest. Actually, well, I will put that down there. So let's say Leah transcribed. Silvery barbs. So yeah, we got that taken care of. Perfect. So we bought the silvery barbs, then we jumped out of Carjuntan and took off with everybody in tow. And as far as we know, nobody's following us, nobody's checking up on us, and nobody's coming after us as far as we know. Even though we've got kind of a larger group now that we're all sort of moving with. Because we have those people, plus Leah's got a mule that has a pack mule with some things on it. And I assume maybe some of these other people have animals as well, though we haven't talked about that. So originally, once we exited the city, we went west to pick up Rhymefire, who was in sort of like a partially wooded area that west of the city. So we were able to pick him up. So one of the sort of through lines for last session was definitely random encounters showing up. So we went out there, got immediately attacked by dire wolves, got that finished, picked up Rhymefire, and then we hooked it north to go up to Naida's holding, her sort of estate, her manor. We ended up needing to head around the guard checkpoint just because it's just a little more safety for us. We're trying to, keep a relatively low profile. Of course, in doing that, we got attacked by some giant eagles trying to pick at some of our unarmored people. But actually, we dealt with that very easily. We very quickly just we killed the crap out of them is what we did. We killed them. We killed them real dead. So those eagles were not much of a concern for us, especially now that we have sort of Rhymefire in the group. That makes things a lot better. So we got there. We did our rest, and we hooked it west in the direction of Split Valley Oasis, which is where we're going. We're going to meet up with Akari. There we go. With Akari to see if we can set up a new base of operations for Arias and the rest of the crew, and find a safe place to sort of drop them off. Remember that we still have that family heirloom bow of Akari they gave to us for helping with the elemental that was screwing up his business and his plantation. So we've got that, which was very, very impressive given it's not definitely one for us to sell. But basically what it was sort of an IOU in that form, so we're actually bringing it back to him, giving it back to him, calling in that IOU, be like, hey, can you set these people that I have with me up with some sort of lodging and whatever they need necessary to um, set up a home base, basically. Which will be nice for us, right? Nice for Leah, because we haven't really had that sort of home base this entire time. We've been very much sort of hoboing it, around. So it'll be nice to have maybe a place where we can come back to. That'll be really interesting. Certainly a nice change of pace, anyways. Let's see what happened after that. Right, as we're traveling west, at least for this first part, we are having to. One of the conditions of bringing Rhymefire with us and he helping us sort of protect and shuttle all these people across is that we're going through that section of area that Naida let us know that there might be a potential lair for Rhymefire, our Silver Dragon Wormling, for him to be able to find a nest of his own. We found one and cleared it out already. Unfortunately, we learned basically at the end of clearing it out that Norcruth, which is the person who had originally captured Rhymefire that we freed him from, knew about this and was in cahoots with the creatures here to capture other animals. So Great Lair would have loved to leave Rhymefire there, and I feel like Rhymefire wanted to be there. The only downside is that Norcruth knows about it, which means that it's not safe as long as Norcruth's still around. And since we have no idea where Norcruth is and what he's up to, and we know that he is not happy with us, of the many, many things that we've done, we've gotten the one up on him over these past 26 sessions. So he's not going to be happy with us if we see him. But we also aren't sort of in a position where we're just going to go out and just start killing people. That's despite Leah's somewhat murderous history in the very beginning of the game, of accidentally getting herself into weird situations in which she gets attacked and has to sort of defend herself and ends up with somebody being dead at the end of those altercations. But we're definitely not going out seeking to kill people, especially people without a really good reason. And unfortunately, Norcruth has not really given us that reason yet. Maybe something to do with the Ghast, right? Which is who he was originally going to be selling Rhymefire to. And we kind of botched that deal for him. But we don't know enough about the Ghast and their operations to be able to make any decisive action or get any sort of authorities involved about that. So, kind of stuck. But main point is that we're heading west. We're heading through that area that Naida let us know about. So the condition that Rhymefire had for protecting these people is that once we got there, as we move through that area, we do have to stop and search to see if we come across a potential home for him. If not, he's going to continue with us. And then we're going to have to figure out something to do with him once we get to Split Valley Oasis, because they're probably not going to be happy to see a dragon in general. So, yeah, this could be interesting if that ends up coming up. Hopefully we'll find some place. Now, that does mean that we might have to stop. There might be something that happens if we end up having to do a little dungeon delve. What we're going to do with our large chain of travelers that's with us. Right, we have like a half a dozen people with us now. Yeah, so I mean, we don't really want to be spending a lot of time out in the open delving dungeons when we have people who are maybe being hunted, including ourselves. But that is what we're doing. We did get exhausted as we were heading west through that area, but we decided to move on from one place that was kind of a little bit dangerous, and we moved into basically some marshy areas. And in that marshy area, we found some bloated humanoid bodies that people were dumping in the marsh. And we ended up chasing after the people dumping it and circled a group of orcs. And so we did that. We had a little fight. We got a little bit of loot. Unfortunately, we tried to sleep overnight, and we got attacked not once, but twice, trying to rest overnight. Right, random encounters was the name of the game yesterday. At least yesterday game. It's been a week for me. But yeah, we got attacked by some giant toads. That went pretty poorly. We got attacked by the half ogre group. That went relatively poorly. But we were able to finally finish the overnight rest. We did finally get that long rest taken care of. And we are starting a new day. I've already done the upkeep for the day. The only thing that I haven't done, and I left myself a little note to make sure that we do that off the start. But I already updated the calendar and the weather and everything. Which again, our day is Spring Crone 24, which is about April 28th. So towards the end of the spring now. And actually, I will just go ahead and show you what we're looking with. Let's go ahead and boop. There we go. Alright, yeah. So now you guys can see what I see. Perfect. So like I said, Spring Crone 24. So we are reaching the passing of the seasons in the not too distant future. We got about let's see, 3, 4. We got 3 more weeks. I think that's right. In fact, I have the calendar with me. Why don't I just check the calendar? As I dump the GM Oracle, which I will need to pick that up in a second. But first off, there's a skeleton. Calendar. Okay, so 4 weeks, but remember these weeks are... We have a different world calendar, so those are weeks of 5 days. So we have... Wait, how many did I say? 4? So we have about 20 days left in the season. Before we reach the vernal equinox, which is coming up. I don't know if that's going to be important. There's usually a celebration that happens, right? There's usually like festivals that happen during that time. But we'll have to just kind of see where we end up. We might attend one of those festivals. We might have some sort of plot that goes on with one of those festivals. But we got a few weeks till we get there. And all things, fingers crossed, if we do things correctly, we should be there. Should be in Split Valley Oasis when the equinox comes around. So that will be nice. Let's see. Yeah, that was it. Right, that was all the catch up. So Spring Crone 24 is today. Temperature's nice. The air is calm. The skies are clear. It's going to be a beautiful day for us. So, our session goals, as usual, we're going to transport Arias and everybody else. Right, that's Leah, Delg, Omer, Iolus, Arias' secretary, and Imbar. And technically Ott too, though that may or may not be Ott's sort of like final point. And we still got to find that safe lair for Rhymefire. So the thing is, alright, so we transcribed Silvery Barbs into Spellbook. And we need to pay Ott and Imbar. So we haven't done that. So let me do that for Leah real quick. So this is why I said I was going to change things, so that way I think this will make it a little bit easier to kind of see everything as I'm working on it. And I can make things a little bit larger for you guys to see, which I think will be helpful. Alright, so we need to pay 2 to each, so that's 4. We're down to 86. No problems, we still got plenty of money. And now, well, we just gotta get going. So, we're still hex crawling. And, of course, we are over our exhaustion, because we did finally make it through the night. Luckily, we didn't have to do too many skill checks while we were exhausted, so not too bad. Alright, so, first roll of the game, we gotta make Constitution saving throw. We do have a mule with us, so we do get advantage, because we're not having to carry everything on our back. And let's go ahead and pull up the dice. There we go. Big money's no whammies. 17 is pretty good. 17, I believe she has a 2 modifier. Right? Yes. Alright, so 19. We're off. That's pretty good. We should probably make pretty good progress today. And let's jump over to the map. Alright, so we were camping here in the marsh. Yeah, I think we want to get the heck out of this marsh. This marsh was not kind to us. We have had 3 encounters in this in this marsh in this hex. Now, remember that each of these hexes are what we call league hexes, so they represent about an hour of travel. So for at least for imperial measurements, right, American measurements, they're about 2.5 miles across. So about standard sort of walking speed. But what we are going to do here is we're going to edit that. So we're no longer camping here. That was just a note for then. So we're not going to do that. Get out of here. All right. So we're about to enter that search area. Now we don't have to search all these red hexes, right? We just the ones that we said we were going to make it across. So it looks like we'll probably need to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the 4 we're going to get across. But we're going to start from the marsh. We're going to move on into this sort of scrub area. So we move into the scrub area, right? We got to check our things. It's going to take us a little bit of energy to do that. 3 points, 3 of our 19. And we need to check for a random encounter and if it has a POI. So, random encounter. Okay, good. Off to a good start by not having a random encounter. And is there a POI here? 7. No, there's not. Alright, so we don't see anything. And remember, these are points of interest that we just stumble across as we move through the hex. We can also, if we have a hex like this, where you can see sort of over here on the right, it says empty. That means we don't have any notes here. Usually, if we stay here and we search a hex, and we end up confirming that there's nothing in it, I usually put empty in the secret notes down here. But that is not the case. So we're going to keep moving. So I believe this is... I don't actually know. So we don't actually know what type of... I think this is supposed to be a plains hex, if I remember correctly. So we are moving west, and we're moving into this area. So first of all, we got to figure out what kind of hex it is. So plains is our default, sort of grasslands, and a grasslands it will be. So go ahead and update that real quick. So let's go back here to our terrain. Let's get here. We're going to get our little plains. Boop. There we go. All right, so we moved over there. Get another D4. Oop. All right, we're chewing up the energy right out the gate. We're already up to 7. That's not great. We're a third of the way, over a third of the way there. So, not great. I'd like to be rolling some more 1s and 2s, but it is what it is. Let's see. Any encounters? Nope. Good. Any POI? Not that we stumble across. Now, we are in this hex, so we're going to have to look. This thing. And unfortunately, that takes more energy. So it's definitely going to take us... Since we're going to have to search at least probably 4 hexes. It may take us 2 days, maybe even 3 days to get across here. Hopefully just 2, though. Hopefully we'll stop rolling 3s and 4s. And hold on. Boop. There we go. Alright, so that's where we are. We need to go down to our control operations. Alright, so technically we are still in a marches hex, so we're going to roll a d6, and if we roll a 1 through 3, there's going to be something there. Alright, so there is something. We also need to spend some energy. Because we are searching this hex, we're kind of going back and forth, looking for high places so we can get a better look at things and sort of check that out. Alright, well, actually, just eating away our energy. that is okay. Alright, so we rolled a 1 through 3, which means we can roll a 1d20 on the stocking. What do we run across? Oh, 20. I think that is bad. I'm pretty sure that's a hazard. It sure is. It sure is some sort of hazard. Well, that is unfortunate for us. Alright, well, let's roll on the hazard sub table real quick. What's in here? 2. Some sort of exposure or weather is the hazard. And let's look at our POI subtypes. So exposure or hazard. Ooh, 6 and 20 again. Dice, I really need you to save the 20s for when I'm in combat. Not this. This is not great. This is not great for me. We rolled a 6 and 20. Alright, puts us in... We're in the marches, so it's weird. Oh, that's some sort of ooze. Alright, well, it's gotta be some sort of exposure or weather. I don't know if any oozes that cause weather-specific things. Though I do like the exposure. So maybe there's just sort of this sort of... I'm thinking sort of like StarCraft Zerg sort of ooze that's on the ground, right? That kind of covers the ground. And my initial thought is that it sucks the heat out of you, right? That it kind of sucks the heat out of you. Though actually, we can use our trap information to figure out what the hazard does. But let's go ahead and add some notes on the map before we get too far ahead. So I know what's going on here. Well, first of all, let's put a little icon down. It's a good one. Let's use this. Our little weather guy here. There we go. All right. And let's open up our secret notes here. So gelatinous ooze covers ground here. And let's see, what does that ooze do? Alright, well, I'm gonna have to move this thing because it keeps falling over. Stay. Stay. Alright. Traps. So we can get some effects. It's gonna be kind of a weird thing. Give me a D12 on those traps to see what sort of the effect of this weird hazard is. 10. Ooh, that's a charm or mind-altering trick. So it wasn't heat. It's going to be some sort of... It's a good thing. Maybe we just do, like, the spell Confusion. That seems pretty... I mean, this could be very bad for us. So, area acts as the Confusion spell. DC. All right, let's set up a DC. So of course, whenever I'm trying to do random DCs, I just roll 3d6. Those are not added together standard. Thankfully, I rolled really low. That means the DC is going to be really low. In fact, the DC is going to be 2. It's mind-altering, but it's a bodily effect, so I'm going to say it's a Constitution save. Constitution effect, DC 2. On save. DC 02. Alright. So, unfortunately, we have a lot of people with us, which really increases our ability to maybe fail here. So, we gotta be very careful. So, let's go in order. Leah. I think Leah technically can't fail this. Well, I mean, she could roll a 1, I guess. One's a failure on a save. Don't roll 1. Hey, she didn't. Well, with DC2, that's pretty much going to be the same for everybody, isn't it? Nobody has a negative constitution. So really we just need to kind of go down the line and check out. All right, how many people do we have in the party again? And we also need to roll for at least Leah's mule. So let's go back up here to our social start. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with our mule, right? We're gonna go with, so we're gonna have 8. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey guys, I see some ones there. Where are those 20s? Where were the 20s I rolled earlier? I needed them there. I should have. This is not helpful, guys. Alright, so whoever the second person is in line, and the sixth person. Who's second and sixth? Alright, Delg and Rice's secretary are affected. So first of all, we gotta look up the confuse spell. Confusion. Alright, well, we've got that. Alright, so let's go ahead and we're just going to put this in here. Let's go ahead and add to our notes, basically, what's going on. Alright, so we head out and run into a gelatinous ground cover. The confusion spell, the access to the confusion spell, and low DC of 0-2, but Delg and Rice's secretary, who we haven't given a proper name, and probably won't, because right now she's not important. The only important thing is that she helped us find Arias, basically. Alright, so there, I'm just going to... should I make them do this? No, they should do different things. So we're walking around. I guess let's set up a DC to see if... Do we even recognize that something's happening to them? Alright, that's not too bad. It's DC 12, DC. We got a whole group of people, so she's going to have advantage. And, I guess we're not paying attention. That's... with a 3 and a 5. Well, it wasn't a very high DC, but again, the dice have decided to jump in and, well, they're just going to bend us over, aren't they? Not a great start. Which we don't see that. Alright, so now we're going to have to ask our first oracle question. Are we going to make it out of the hex before we realize, well, before we realize something's weird with them? What are the chances of that? Again, there's a lot of us here. I think it's likely. I would say very likely, but we did obviously screw up our perception checks. So I'm just going to say likely. So +3. We definitely want a yes here. Okay, 14, that's a yes. Perfect. Alright, so we do recognize. Now we just need to figure out what's going on with them as we're moving around. So we rolled a 2. Alright. And a 5. Oh, they rolled the same thing anyways. So we're moving along, going along. And then suddenly, I don't know, who recognizes this? There's like a large number of us. Oh, alright. Leah turns around. They're talking about directions or something like that. She's like, "Yeah, I think we can keep heading west here." They're probably checking their bearings. Yeah, we should keep heading west there. We didn't really see anything. I'd really like to get out of this, this ooze stuff. It's kind of weird. Wait. Are we missing somebody? Everybody's like, huh? What? right? Because now there's quite a few of us. So people who have to like start counting heads and be like, yeah, Delg's missing, and Rice is like, my secretary's missing. Oh, uh, well, and I think they start looking around and start calling out. All right, so we're gonna give them another perception check, see if they can find these guys. Well, I'm gonna take that net 20 as yep, they find it. All right, so obviously it doesn't take them that long to find them. So they head back a little bit ways. They kind of pass over sort of a slight rise, and they're able to see them. And the two of them are just kind of like wandering around aimlessly, with that sort of like blank, confused look on their face, like. So we see that, and we're like, all right, well, let's go collect them. All right, now I feel like since we're all in here, we're gonna have to do another round of all trying to save. Now again, there's 8 of us, and this is of course going to take another point of time. So this is because we're having to backtrack and pick people back up. All right. So we're up to 12. All right. So again, there's 8 of us that need to roll. All right. So Leah, well, there's Leah and then 8, right? Or 7. I gotta get rid of some of these NPCs. They're just way too hard to get track of, which is why we're dropping them all off. 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7. All right. 7 more. No ones, right? Think big numbers. We need big numbers. We need numbers that just aren't 1, basically. All right, that's 1. It's 2. 3. 4. Excellent. 5. Looking good. Yes. Okay. So we collect everybody and we get out of there. Great. Thankfully we rolled very low on the DC for this thing, or else this would be a nightmare probably to try to get out of. But luckily we rolled low. Things are okay. We're getting out of here. Definitely not at home. Technically we didn't roll for Rime Fire. All right. Well, let's do 1 roll for Rime Fire. Okay. Again, he has a pretty good constitution. I think he has either a +2 or +3 to that save. So, all right. So we get the Wanderers back. Continue on. All right. We backtrack to find the Wanderers and continue on. Let's say backtrack to collect the Wanderers. All right, great. Let's move on. Let's get the heck out of here. I don't want to stay in this terrible hazard any longer than we have to. So we're going to move on to the next spot, which is let's roll. So the reason I'm not rolling for all the hexes around for the biomes is because I need to keep that sort of red in there, just so we know where we're searching. Of course, once we were done with Rhymefire's agenda, we can fill those all out. 9. Okay, 9 is slightly more verdant. Perfect. So we're going to have a little light forest. So we find this sort of like wooded areas is what we end up running across as we head west. So we're going to find a slightly wooded area here. Let's go ahead and get our trees. Pop that guy down right there, and then we're going to make him go. So basically this means that this area is sort of like a 50-50, partially wooded, partially not wooded. Like sort of smattering of small woods and sort of copses, things like those. Alright, so we did that. It's going to take us some energy. Are we going to get into an encounter? No. Let's record that energy, though. Alright, we're still chewing through the day. And do we come across some sort of point of interest? No. Which means that we have to search here. Again, we're still in a frontier hex or a marches hex, and we need to roll a 1 through 3, which we did not, so we confirmed that there is not a POI here, but that did take time and energy. Luckily, just one. It's very, very clear that nothing was here. Do that, update that, and then we're going to put down here in our little secret notes, empty. I'm just going to say confirmed empty. Usually I just write empty, but feeling kind of froggy. So confirmed empty. All right. So I think we definitely have enough to get. Well, certainly we can get through one more. I think. I don't think that's going to be an issue. Right. How many? We're definitely getting into the next hex. I don't know if we're going to have enough energy to search the hex. It's going to. If we don't roll a 4, we will, without having to take on some exhaustion, which now I'm a little gun shy to do because we did that last session and it really bit us in the butt with those encounters overnight while we were resting. Right, we had 3 encounters in that hex in which we had exhaustion before we could finish the long rest to get rid of it. Not exactly what we wanted. All right. So we're here. We're confirmed empty. Let's move on. Okay. Interesting. So double ones, that means it's a mountain. We find a mountain. Oh, luckily it only takes us 1. Now, because it's a mountain, we need to roll a d10. All right. Generally, when I do mountains in these sort of hex crawls, if I end up rolling a 10, that means it's a volcano. I didn't roll a 10. It's not a volcano. It's just a mountain. So this is going to be a mountain. We are sort of in the temperate area, so this is going to be a little tag of mountain. Boop. So that's where we are. I need to update this by 1, which gives us enough. Well, first of all, are there any encounters there? Yeah. All right. But luckily, it should just be. Hopefully, it's not going to be some sort of combat. We just need to double check in the exploration here for our wilderness dressing, which is where we're in. And this is going to be wilderness dressing for a mountain or forest. It's forested mountain, so I'll choose one or the other. Hills or mountains. All right, so I need a d20. So we are going to come across something. 9. Ooh, interesting. It's a campsite. And next to campsite, I have question. Is it occupied? Has it been attacked? So let's ask some more questions. Is anybody in it? 50. No. But that's 10, so it's like a no, but there's also an interrupt scene that happens. So let's figure out what that is. All right. So we find a campsite. So it's gotta be an older campsite, or it's a non-occupied campsite. So we'll go ahead and put that to. So let's go up here. Find an unoccupied campsite in the mountains where something's going to happen to us. Some sort of interrupt scene is going to happen. Let's grab our GM Oracle. Find out what this scene is going to be. What? There we go. It's going too far. All right, we gotta roll some dice. Subject. Oh, hey, that's us. PC. So it's something to do with Leah. 6. Ooh, defend against destroy or slay. One is also us. So we're defending against ourselves being destroyed. Well, that is I mean, that sounds right. Right. Okay. Um, let's just roll again. Let's try to figure out what might be trying to destroy us. So clearly we know what we're doing. Oh, it's a faction, and it's an existing faction. So somebody's going to show up to ruin our day. Who's it going to be? Oh, joy. Oh, joy. Somebody's showing up to ruin our day. Factions. How many factions we got now? Alright, so technically we still have only 7 factions. Trying to keep that relatively trim number. Oh, 7. Which is the Cult of Narimana. Now, the Cult of Narimana doesn't really want anything with us, I don't think. Let's check our adventure threads. Okay. So, Inbar. So we do know that the Cult of Narimana was fighting the undead in Karjuntin. But why would they be trying to kill Leah? Well, let's see. Anything else that kind of shows up what might be here? No, Oh, right. I forgot about that part. I forgot that Arias was tricked by the Cult of Narimana into letting them ransack Riverside Conservatory. So but they're coming to kill Leah. They're not coming to kill him. I think this falls under 11. So I'm going to add this actually to 11 down here because we had, is anyone chasing Leah and Omer for their hijinks at Riverside Conservatory? Up until now, that answer had been no. But we hadn't really known for certain. We hadn't known definitively one way or the other. So is anyone chasing him? Yeah. And remember that we did go and get that lovely little relic for them. So they're trying to tie up some loose ends about the theft. There we go. And I need to go back in and appropriately bold all these to make it a little bit easier for me to get through. Okay. But all right. So here's the question that I need to ask: is this like an actual person? Is this a cultist? Is this a hired goon? Is it some sort of monster? We need to figure out like who this attacker is. So I guess the first question, let's just ask like, is it a humanoid? Right. Yes. Okay. Uh, is it a cultist? Because if it's not a cultist, I'm going to guess it's the Bounty Hunter Guild. Right? It's not a cultist. So, well, it wouldn't be the Bounty Hunter Guild because there's no bounty on us. Unless somebody's doing weird stuff they're not supposed to be doing in the Bounty Hunter Guild. Which they might, right? I mean, we don't exactly... There's exactly no love lost between Leah and the Bounty Hunters Guild, and they've already had issues. So, is the Bounty Hunters Guild someone from the Bounty? Okay, so it is someone from the Bounty Hunters Guild. So I was gonna ask, is this like a sanctioned thing? Like, are they supposed to be doing this? But I think I'm gonna leave that question for now, because I don't think we would know the answer to that for any reason. So instead, we're gonna deal with never shows up. So let's just for funds, let's look back up here at. All right, so we don't have anybody under the Bounty Hunter Guild. Now, obviously, Leah did kill somebody in the Bounty Hunter Guild. Right. Actually, she's killed 2 people in the Bounty Hunters Guild. So, they have friends and family. So, we don't know who this is, but somebody. So, yeah, let's find. All right, so it's gonna be some sort of humanoid. Let's see if we've got. Let's bring this up. We're gonna bring up our Kobold Fight Club, Kobold Plus Fight Club. Sorry, because it's been different for a long time, but I still just call it the same. And let's see, there's like an assassin, right? Oh, that's it. It's a CR8. All right, well we can't do that. Let's filter. I guess we'll filter for some humanoids because they're clearly going to be humanoids. You know what? I'm going to throw a beast in here just in case. Just in case, maybe it's an assassin with some animals with them, like a dog or something. So I'm thinking maybe I'm going to keep it. I was going to say boss and minions, but maybe just leave it random. And of course, as always, we always do a hard encounter. Alright, so we got some thugs. I like thugs. So these are maybe some lower level people. Okay. Alright, so 7 will put us at deadly. So what we do, we're going to walk that back and say 1d6 plus 1 thugs are showing up. To take out Leah, specifically. Right, which means that they might not be going for any of the other people if we get into an altercation. Which I assume they are, because they're going to try to kill her, so probably not going to be able to talk her way out of this one. Alright. 1d6 plus 1. Low numbers, please. Yes! 2 people show up. We can handle 2 people. Just to show you how that works, let's go back and see what 2 people look like. This could be like an easy encounter. So we've got 4 combatants on our side. Because we're probably not going to count Rhymefire in this one. And, I mean, unless things get really nasty. But otherwise, he has to kind of stay out of the way, right? Too many reports of a dragon flying around is problematic for him. So he kind of has to stay away from where it seems like there's people might be. Especially during the daytime. Alright, so we get attacked by... Alright, so, technically, we don't know the cult of Narimon is out for us, but that's how we got to where we are, so we'll say that there's going to be evidence either by talking to them or at the papers on them or something that's going to show us that they're on orders from the cult of Narimana. There's going to be a mission brief, just like when you kill an assassin that comes after you in Skyrim, right? They're going to have the little thing on them that details, who's coming after you. And why. I mean, probably not why in this case. Though I get... they could have hired the bounty hunters to bring them back in for what happened at Riverside Conservatory. Maybe just have the bounty hunters pay for that bounty dead or alive, right? Maybe they flex their influence that way. Doesn't matter. Let's get into it. All right. So we've got combat. We're gonna take Rhymefire. We're gonna put him down here for a second. He's just going to chill out down here. So what we need right here is we have some thugs. And we can just use Sigfard. I think that's fine. Since we've only got one type, I'm going to look for some thugs. There we go. Alright, so these guys go on 10. Pretty simple. There's 2 of them. They have 32 hit points. Now, this should probably not be a very long fight. I don't think they're going to stick around for too long. Especially once we get going. Alright, but we do need to roll some initiatives. We'll go with that Delg, Imbar, Ot, Leah. Delg, Imbar, Ot, Leah. Alright. For some reason, Delg's going first. It's going to be Inbar, Leah, and Ot, surprisingly, at the bottom for some reason. Alright, well, that's our initiative taken care of. Delg's up first. Right, let's get the perception check, right? Presumably, if you're trying to assassinate somebody, you usually try to sneak up on them. Usually makes that easier. Try to ambush them. So, being followed. I'm going to give her advantage because, again, we have a bunch of people around. Okay. 13, she's trained in perception, but she has a -1 wisdom, so that's a 14. That might meet or beat it. It certainly does not. Double 6s? That's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, that's a DC 21, which we totally miffed. So they're gonna get a little surprise action. They get to sort of go first. And they're gonna get the drop on our girl, which is not great. Get pack tactics. Yeah, I assume that they're going to be attacking probably. This is a mountainous area, so there's probably plenty of sort of like shrubs and yeah, it's a forested mountain. Yeah, there's plenty of places for them to hide. So yeah, they're gonna hide behind some trees and they're gonna shoot off their heavy crossbows, +2 to hit against Leah, both of them. And they're both gonna have advantage on this because nobody knows what they're there. All right, so that first one actually misses. And the second one misses too. Wow. So we're gonna roll into initiative. So obviously they're walking around. They're looking at this campsite, looking at things. May or may not be this assassin's campsite. We don't know how long they've been out here. And then these heavy crossbow bolts fly through the air and slam into the trees next to Leah as she's bending down, like touching the ashes, trying to see if the fire's hot or not. And Delg looks up and's like, hey, there's people over there. And we roll into initiative. Delg will... I'm going to say that these guys have cover. So I'm going to give them a +2 to their AC because they're hiding behind the trees right now. So Delg's going to try to sling at them. I don't think it's going to matter. I think Delg's going to hit them anyways. That's 17 to hit. And these guys are not particularly beefy. Yeah, they have an AC 11. I mean, he doesn't do a lot of damage. He only does a flat D4. So that first guy's going to take 3 points of damage. Perfect. It's the thugs' go. Well, I don't know. How aggressive are they? I could imagine them turning tail and running right now, and just knowing that they're always in the back somewhere, maybe. So I guess that's an Oracle question. Are they going to press the attack while they still kind of have surprise? I mean, they could still... I mean, obviously they're going to at least shoot before they start moving away. Really what I want to know is, are they going to close with melee? Are they trying to gang up on her real fast and kill her outright? I don't think so. They're heavily outnumbered. So I'm going to say It's extremely unlikely. So -5. No, yeah, no. In fact, that's under sub 1, so they're going to take their shots. They're going to take shots again and run for it. So 2 shots against her. I'm pretty sure she's going to get hit. I think her AC, yeah. So one's going to hit her, but the other one, thankfully, is not. It's heavy crossbow. It's D10, I believe. Yeah. And it's just flat. So Leah's going to get popped with one of these guys for 5 points of damage, which is not great. She's a wizard. She doesn't have a lot of hit points. We really don't want our wizard to get killed. She's also, the player character, which I don't really want her to die. But that's what and then they're going to start retreating back. I don't think they have a special runaway thing, but let's double check. No. So then they start disappearing off into the woods. Now, they've only moved 30 away. I assume they were within firing distance. They were probably relatively close. Because they still had to shoot through trees. Let's just ask. Are they 2 moves away at this point? Yes. Alright, so they're like 60 feet away. Now. So they shot from about 30, then moved back 30. I assume they're staying relatively close together. I believe that makes it Inbar. Alright, so it's time for Inbar to earn her true gold for the day. Let's get Inbar to earn her money. Now, she could run 60 and catch up with one of them. She could run 60 and catch up with somebody. Is she going to do that? Does that make good tactical sense? I mean, yeah, she wants to gang up. She wants to get those crits, I think. She's a big, beefy, right-in-your-face kind of lady. Yeah, so I think she's going to do that. She's going to close on one of them. And are they close enough? We'll ask the Oracle. Are they close enough that she can actually get in range of both of them? No. Alright. So just one. So she closes on one of them. Then it's Leah's turn. Well, these guys are like 60 feet away. What's Leah going to do? I think Leah is going to... I think she's going to firebolt the one, right? The one that Inbar's on. I think that makes the most sense. These guys are already sort of turning tail, so I don't think she wants to use like a big spell on them. She's gonna miss, though. And that brings up Ott. Now, Ott can't close an attack. We know that. This is too far. Oh, wait, I forgot she's an expert. She's not a fighter. So she does have the dash action as a bonus action. So she is going to actually do that bonus action dash so she can move 60 and get right on top of the one with Inbar. And she can get the gang up with flanking. And she gets multi-attacks, so she's going to do 2 attacks with her spear. Both of which have advantage. Alright, well, that one definitely hits. And that one definitely hits. And it's a total of 8 plus 4. So 12 points of damage. It's not the greatest. Could have been better, but, it's something. And we're definitely putting that one to a bad spot. Alright, that's back at the top with Delg. Yeah, I think Delg's going to take cover behind a tree, and then he's going to sling at the same thug that everybody's been working on. Again, they still have cover, so +2. Doesn't matter. That was exactly what he needed on the die, so. He slings again, and hits him for 3 points this time. MVP, baby. MVP Delg. The barber surgeon with the golden sling arm. Alright, it is the thug's turn. Now, one's hurt pretty bad and is surrounded, got two people on top of him. One of them is unattached and basically unhurt. Is that one going to run? I'm going to give them a morale check, but I'm going to give it to them with advantage. Or what would technically be disadvantage, they need to roll under their charisma score. It's a meet or roll less than. And the charisma is 11. So that is a success. So they stay in the fight. Just an oracle question. Are they going to move into melee? No. Alright. So that other one's going to reload their crossbow, shoot. Again, the target is technically Leah, so gonna shoot at Leah, but they've moved now. So I'm going to say that Leah also has the cover from the woods. Because this person's trying to sort of like thread the needle between a whole bunch of pine trees. 14, 15, 16. Well, actually, it's just straight up 14, because those two are going to cancel each other out, which Leah's AC is 14. So she is going to get hit again with another bolt. For minimum damage. Alright, just scrapes her off the side of the cheek. And she's still trying to... She needs to take cover. I should have had her do that last turn. But that is alright. She is going to take another point of damage, though. These people... And then that guy's going to move further away. The other one is surrounded. He for sure needs to make morale save, and he does not get advantage on that. Alright, he's in the fight. So he's going to drop his crossbow and bring out his weapon. Ott's the one who hurt him real bad, so he's going to go after Ott. And missed. Swings wildly with his mace. It's a swings better and a miss. That brings us to Imbar. Imbar is going to try to... Now she does get gang up, because she's got Ott right there. And which means she also has advantage. So she's going to try to squash this bug. I mean, 16 on the die is going to hit all day. Oof. Oof. How much damage is that? That's a lot of damage. Yeah, 20 points of damage. Yeah. We'll count that guy as freaking dead. For sure. Yeah, so this guy turns around, he swings wildly at Ott, who, despite being a huge 7-foot, hyena person, is very nimble and quite quick, and sort of like does a back step away. And sort of as this guy sort of like overreached with his mace, I think Imbar just hammers him in the side of the head, just right in the temple with her warhammer, and that guy just kind of bumps, just kind of just hits the ground hard and does not move anymore. All right, that's Imbar. Imbar hasn't moved, so she'll close the space to the other one who only moved away 30. So, let's double check. Is she able to get base to base, like get adjacent to him? I think extremely likely. They were pretty close to each other. Yeah. All right. Which makes it Ott's turn, and Ott will also close and make some attacks. And I think, for once, Ott's actually going to be able to... well, I was going to say do something else, but no, she won't. She will make 2 attacks with her spears. That's the first attack, definitely hits. The second attack, same thing. Alright. 14 points of damage on that guy. Which is, so that'd be 15, 18. Right, down to 18. Yeah. Just really stabbing these guys. Really, really not a super fair fight. Dill probably feels like this is taken care of. I think, like, he just watched Imbar absolutely body that one dude with the warhammer to the skull. Um, I think he is. I don't think he's. Well, I mean, he's in for a penny, in for a pound. Yeah, sure, why not? Take another sling. Yep, you're gonna hit too. He can't miss, Golden Boy. He's the Golden Boy. He can't miss with that sling. Thug. In a real bad situation. Here's the thing: is you're surrounded. Well, let's make a morale check. See if he stays in the fight. He is not. I gotta get out of here. Look, if he can get far enough away, maybe he can hide. Um, I'm playing that because he doesn't know mechanically that there's no way he'll ever be able to get away from Ott. Ott will be able to chase him down all day. Since she has dash as a bonus action, which means she can dash as her primary action and as her bonus action, she'll always be able to catch up to him. So, but he doesn't know that. So I'm trying to figure out, does he disengage or does he just run? I think meta wise, I'm just gonna say that he runs and they take the opportunity attacks because I think that will end it quicker. So Imbar will hit. Now she doesn't get the extra 2d6 this time because she's already used it. This turn, this like round. And Ott will also hit. Alright, so 2d8. Really? Double ones? Minimum damage, huh? I'm trying to save time here, guys. I'm trying to save time for a battle that feels like it's very much already over. We're gonna add plus 1 to that, and plus 3. So 5 points damage. Ooh, howdy. That's really great, guys. Really great. It's Imbar's turn. She will close, and then she will ready an action to attack once Ott's in range, so that way she can get her gang up. Leah will have a go, still plenty within that firebolt range. And, of course, before I forget, she moves to cover. Absolutely useless in this fight. Absolutely useless. It's an embarrassment. Absolutely embarrassing. Ott's going to close the distance, though, which means that Imbar's attack will go off. Yep, she's going to hit. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's enough to just kill him. Yep. Alright. And we didn't say anything about taking in prisoners, and Imbar, I don't know. Imbar doesn't really strike me as the take prisoners kind of person, so she Maxwell Silverhammer's this guy too, and that's how it is. Just a bloody pulp on the forest ground. This mountain. Okay. Shall we investigate the bodies? Let's see if we can dig up some more clues, huh? All right. All right. Anything on the bodies? Let's make an investigation check. We'll make. We'll make one. That's pretty good. Yep, that beats it. I don't even need to look at our modifiers. That'll do it. That's an 11 DC. We can hit that. Alright, so they're gonna have some treasure on them, which is good. Now, the question is it gonna be anything worthwhile, or is it just going to be minor treasures? Which is fine, but pocket contents gets a little boring. So I'm gonna do one for each of them. Pocket contents, of course. Hey, but we rolled pretty well. Pocket contents, we found a purse full with some money in it. We found a purse that has exactly one gold coin in it. Great. We'll just, just go over here to Leah and be like, woohoo, 87 gold though. But we do have one other, hopefully better. I don't think that is better. I think that is also pocket contents. Oh no, it's street goods. Street goods. It's not pocket contents. We just edged out. What kind? 17. Some sort of preserved food. Alright. Some sort of, it's gonna be like dried seeds. It's like a pouch of dried seeds or something. It's basically worth 2 copper. It's functionally worthless. Um, Somebody will eat it, basically. Maybe they'll give it to Delg for all his great slinging in that encounter. I know we're definitely not giving it to Leah. She definitely did not get MVP for that combat. She did nothing except bleed. Speaking of which, do we want to actually address anything with her? No, I don't think so. I think we're not going to let her heal back right now. I think we're good. I'd rather save those crucial hit points, that crucial healer's kit for later. Nobody used any arrows. We don't need to worry about that, and nobody else got hurt. Perfect. So do we find... This will be more of an oracle question, because we already did the successful investigation. Do we find out any notes about what they were... Well, before I ask that, let's determine, is the... I want to know if the campsite is theirs. Actually, I probably shouldn't have rolled the oracle first. I really probably should have made an investigation check first. Either investigation or insight. I'm going to go with investigation. Again, she has a bunch of people with her. I'm going to give her advantage on it. 11. She has pretty good investigation, right? Alright, so that's a 16. Let's see the DC. Okay, yeah, we got that. That's a DC 11. So now we'll ask the oracle question. Now that I'm doing it the correct way. Can we determine... Well, we're going to determine one way or the other. Is this the assassin's camp? I think that's likely. +3? Yeah, it is. Did they leave any sort of... anything? Let's just say anything of note. Is there anything worthwhile that we find? Yes. Okay. So now the question is it something about why they were trying to kill Leah? Yes. Okay. So we're gonna get maybe an order or a missive or anything. Does it... Well, let's ask. Is it an official bounty hunter sanction? No. Okay, so this is private. This is an off-the-books private contract that to hire assassins from the Bounty Hunters Guild. So they're maybe doing some moonlighting freelancing. It may have nothing to actually do with the Bounty Hunter Guild. Does it... Does it confirm that... Does it confirm that the Cult of Narimana is involved? No. Okay. Is there a code name, maybe? Yes. Alright, I guess we need to come up with a code name. So we don't know that it's the Cult of Narimana, and frankly, by the time we get back to it, I probably won't remember that it's the Cult of Narimana, so we'll just be like, there's somebody who's hunting Leah. Which is, frankly a better outcome for a solo RPG. Very open-ended that way. How do we want to name them? Well, I've got a little thing. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so I have a little sort of like descriptors kind of helpful table. It's a D66 table, which are interesting tables if you've never used a table like that before. It kind of works like a percentile roll, except it has a weird number of slots attached to it. 34. So I think it's going to be a three-headed something. I'm trying to figure out a three-headed what, though. All right, so a three-headed beast of some type. I mean, the classic example is obviously Cerberus, so it seems very obvious to go with a dog. Oh, but it could also be a chimera, right? Chimeras are, I mean, technically not beasts, but they are three-headed sort of animals. Is it a chimera? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, there's an assassination hit out on. I guess that's just a new thread in totality. I think, because we wouldn't know that that's tied to the cult of Narimana. Should we go ahead and put that under that? No, we do know the Bounty Hunters Guild is searching for Arias, so it's a good thing we did not let them escape. Did we put this under enmity of the Bounty Hunter Guild? Yeah, I think so. I think that kind of... Yeah, I think that fits. So there are some that are like sort of freelancing. Let's say moonlighting. Moonlighting's a better term for that. Directed by the Chimera. Dun dun dun. Now we know that we'll go ahead and we'll put that down in our factions and NPCs. The Chimera. I'll keep that bolded. And so we'll put down here that they are to take out Leah. So they've hired contract killers to take out Leah. Do not know who this is. And do not know they're associated with the cult. That is something you have to do every once in a while with a solo thing. You're gonna get some information that you're not gonna be. It's gonna be sort of meta information. So we could either dump that information. We could have gone very open-ended and be like, well, we don't know who the killers are. But because of the way we kind of backed our way into that accidentally, so we're just gonna keep it out. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. I guess we should go ahead and do that. Well, I guess we could ask. Arias would be the right person to ask about that. He's the person who's had the most dealings with the cult of Narimana. So before we know, we're just gonna have to ask. We're gonna ask him if he knows, if anybody who knows. And the truth is that we're gonna have to. So we're gonna ask if anybody knows who the Chimera is. Yep. Yeah, no, Arias knows exactly who that person is. Okay, and I think with Natural 20, they're willing to share that information just straight up. Is it somebody we already know? I don't think that's very likely. No. Okay, so it's going to be a new person. So it's some sort of new NPC that's a part of the cult. Now, this is cult as in sort of, the way I run cults is they're very similar, more similar to, they're a lot more similar to something like ancient Greek cults, which means that they're kind of a mix of like a secret society and sort of like a denomination of a religion, or like an offshoot sect. They're not always sort of like we sacrifice virgins to wake the great old god to devour the earth or anything, but they're usually just sort of like a weird kind of niche subsection of an already established religion. Sort of like orders of friars or things like that, or Templar orders or things like that. Like they're just like a very specific collection of people who have very specific ideal or practice in which they sort of envelop. So it's not necessarily when you come across a cultist in my sort of games, usually it's not like, oh well, obviously they eat babies. We don't know anything. We don't really know very much about these cultists. Other than one of them, at least, is trying to kill Leah. Now, the why for that, we still don't know. But I figured what we should do is I've got my 100 NPC charts, so let's figure out if this is an NPC. All right, we'll just double up right there. All right. So basically, what that means, what I ended up rolling was that so the Chimera is a charismatic outlaw. So very sort of like Robin Hood type of person, or not outlaw, vigilante. Still kind of like Robin Hood, but also maybe more of like a Daredevil or Batman too, like a caped crime fighter. All right, well, let's go back up here. A there a I'm gonna say from Carrington. So kind of weird for a vigilante to do. So obviously they've got some sort of axe to grind against Leia. Might have to be one of the damage they did to Riverside Conservatory. Oh. And in fact, we'll just go ahead and update the adventure threads on that. We'll just go ahead and draw that assumption, probably. Yep, I went too far. Um, so I'm going to take that, right. We'll leave that in there in case it comes up again. So let's go ahead and we'll add this down here. Well, I mean, well, yeah, that's fine. You know what? I'm not going to add that as an adventure thread. That's fine. It's fine where it is. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to screw things up. I'm basically making double work for myself. So I'm not going to do that. All right. Well, that was a weird sort of encounter that kind of took us off the rails a little bit, huh? So let's see. How are we doing? On our operations. So we are in the. I kind of lost thread there for a second. Okay, so we're in here, and we did not find anything, correct? No, because we had an encounter. We haven't even seen if there's a POI in here. Is there a POI in here? Point of interest. Yes. Roll again. What kind of POI is it that we stumbled across? I will be very tickled if that's campsite. I know it's not though. I know it's not Travel Haven. Travel Haven is number 4. Oh, goody! It's a wandering monster. Joy. And what is this wandering monster doing? They are scouting. Okay. So let's go ahead and make a little note down here. It's got to be a relatively low level one. Let's see. We are technically in the frontier, so trying to figure out what type they are. What are we dealing with here? 15 on our naturals. Okay, so some sort of monstrosity. And let's check our filters. Knock these out. These out. And we're going to do monstrosity. I don't think I know what a giant strider is off the top of my head. Makes me think. Oh, weird. I am not familiar with this creature. Huh, okay. So they're a big sort of missing link between sort of birds and dinosaurs, I guess? That people use as mounts. It's like a featherless chocobo, kind of. Okay. Do I want to keep that? Is the question. Yeah, let's say, but it's not just one. We'll say it's like a brood. We'll say brood because that makes more sense than just one. Brood of giant striders. Man, I've been playing D&D for a while, and even in the Forgotten Realms, and I am not familiar with that creature. All right, so that's what we come across. I guess we should hide. It seems like a hide. I don't really want to fight any of these things. They are monsters. Well, first, I guess let's determine the distance. What's the distance of these guys? That's pretty far. So they're like hundreds of feet away. Yeah, so they're not going to engage with them. They just see them, they clock them, and they're like, okay, interesting. We do need to update. We need to add our little stamp to the map so we know that there's a monster here. Take our little dragon token. Boink. Uh, should we search the campsite to see if there's any more loot before we move on? I kind of want to finish this day off, but because I think, frankly, we're getting probably close to ending it. I'd like to end it with us getting all the way out through that western part where we can pick up with like the actual travel section next time, and so that way I can do a little prep if I need to for the travel section. Since we're going to move from basically exploration to overland travel, because it's still going to take us like another week to get to. Actually, it's going to take us almost 2 weeks, week and some change, to get to Split Valley Oasis. So I'd like to take care of that if we can. But we are probably going to need to rest. I mean, we could roll some ones. A couple of ones would do as well. Well, what do you guys think? All right. Well, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and move into the. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's bite the bullet and let's at least move into the next text. So that's going to take us a little bit of energy. There it is. Yeah, that's going to take up all our energy for the day. Luckily, we're not going to be changing anything there, though. So this was... Well, I guess technically this should have been, because that's the middle of the hex. This should have definitely been... Sorry, I'm just going to change this real quick. That should have definitely been that, because it's the middle of the hex, and we always do that for the middle of the hex. So basically, that's what's going to be right here too, though. So we'll just move on. So we move into here. We spend our 4, which is going to tap us out for the day, pretty much. Yeah. They put us right over the top. Now we could go rooting around for stuff. I mean, we're not quite there. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay. To come across POI. No. Which means we're gonna have to search here. Now, is it worth searching here because we could get in a bad situation like we got last time? We're gonna end up with a whole bunch of random encounters while we're trying to sleep, and we've got exhaustion, which means we can't make any skill checks. All our skill checks are at disadvantage, which is not great, right? So let's keep on keeping on, I guess. Let's keep moving on. So I think let's go for it. Why not? So we're gonna go over this. It's 23. We're almost guaranteed to fail that. Actually, I don't think we can. I don't think we can even pass that, even with a natural 20. I mean, I'll give it to us if we roll a natural 20. We don't. All right, so we do have first level exhaustion. So, I mean, that makes sense. Been a long day. We are there, but we are going to search this place. Do we find anything? Nope. Confirmed empty. All right, so we confirmed that empty. And we're going to have to set camp. So we all set camp. How many overnight watches should we do? I can't remember what we did last time. So what I'm going to say is we're going to roll d4. Not 2d4. 1d4. 4. Great. Maximum number. Why not? Hey, but the night goes by just fine. Alright. So we wake up. Our exhaustion is gone. 0, 0. That exhaustion is gone. Our threshold is reset to 0, 0. We do need to do a little bit of housekeeping. I believe this is on Leah's sheet. So we need to check our feed and our rations. Our feed for our meal is fine. Our rations for our party is also fine. Okay, so we're doing great on supplies. So everything's good there. And then that means that we're going to be ready to transition into the next bit, which is going to be overland travel. And let me look at the time real quick. It's getting a little late to sort of jump in and do that, I think. Because I think we can do that probably the majority of the next session. Let's see. Let's make sure we have all our notes that we need. Right. Oh, so we got attacked. That's not how you spell attack. By 2 members of the Bounty Hunter Guild. Moonlighting as assassins sent by the Chimera. So presumably, more of these guys are going to show up because these guys definitely didn't finish the job. We continued first. So unfortunately, we have to have a little conversation with Ryan Fire and be like, "Hey, buddy, we're basically at the end of the search area. and we haven't come across a layer for you yet. So we're at the edge of where Nate said it could be or should be. I mean, at this point, it looks like we just kind of tell them straight up. It looks like at this point, like this chalk pit mine was probably what she was talking about. Was probably the rumor she had heard of. And the truth is that you can't use that, and we know you can't use that until Norcruth is gone. But we also can't just go around. We can't really spend any of our time and energy to hunt down Norcruth and kill him for that. So, right, it's 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks to Split Valley Oasis. Why don't you come with us? You know, maybe we'll come across some place on the way. If not, well, maybe Akari. Akari's a pretty well-connected person. Once we get to Split Valley Oasis, maybe he can give us some leads. Now, we do know, and I can tell you this for a fact, Rhymefire, that we know of one potential place where you can hang out. We have cleared all the bad guys out of that already. We did that weeks ago. So we can do that. So maybe that's what we'll end up doing. We finished the overland exploration. Finish the exploration section. No dice on a layer for Rhymefire. Come with us to Split Valley Oasis. And we can perhaps find, or perhaps secure. Ah, crap. Norcruth knows about that too, but I don't think Norcruth would go looking for him there. Gimble's kind of cut ties with him, so I think we might be all right if we move him, secure the corruptible. We secure the corrupted Wormadon Grove, I guess is what you call it. Grove / shrine. Ruins. As his lair. Maybe. We can definitely... It would be nice to be able to go back and have a chance to talk to... what's that guy's name? Split Valley Oasis. Here we go. Drin. The half-orc baronet. Who we passed by on the way to dealing with that. So it'd be nice to drop in with Dren and see what's going on with him. Maybe he could give us some information about anything that's going on. But yeah, I think I'm going to save that stuff for next time. We're really just kind of hitting our stride here, but that's such a big jump. I really thought it was going to take us a little bit longer to deal with this. But we do have a little bit of housekeeping that we still need to do, so we'll take care of that real quick. Then I think I'm going to take a break. Well, basically in the stream, and then I may stream a little bonus content afterwards. So, you know, stick around for that stuff. That might be fun. Do something different that I already had an idea of. Maybe doing a little bit of streaming on. So we do need to... So we'll delete one of these guys, because the day has passed. It is Spring Chrome 25 now, which means it's April 29th, roughly. Which is... So the 5th's the end of the week, right? You can tell how often I reference this calendar. Yes. Alright, so Spring Chrome 25. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry. When the equinox has already happened. I don't know. I'm out of my mind. We're about to enter summer. Right, actually, we're gaining towards the solstice. But again, the weather's been perfect, and it's going to. I mean, out of character knowledge, we know that it's going to be quite good for the next few days. So that should make traveling a little bit easier, which is good. We will take all the handouts and all the handicaps we can get because we need it, and we're carrying a bunch of people with us who we're trying to protect. Luckily, the only combat we really got into today was, people trying to kill specifically Leah. Ain't that the way? All right, to-dos. So that was sort of we need to continue with Split Valley Oasis, and this is going to be sort of the overland travel section, which probably won't take us too long, but I do want to set some stuff up. So I'll need to prep the overland travel. I can do it live, but I think since I'm streaming it, I'll be a little bit more viewer friendly if I do a little bit of prep for that, so you guys aren't just sitting here watching me roll dice, look at a sheet, roll some more dice, look at a sheet, right, for minutes at a time. 10, 15 minutes trying to get everything sort of set up for it. So instead, I'll just do that off camera, and we'll have that ready to go next week. Yeah, as far as I know, it should be streaming the same time, place, everything, just like Batman next week. So make sure to follow, subscribe, you get that notification when I go live. Generally, we go live around the same time, but, it changes here and there, kind of depending on what's going on. Let's see, other things we need to do. What are the other things we need to do? Right, so we did that, oh, I need to move that. There we go. Just gonna move that from there down to here where it needs to be. So we'll do the overland. Oh, speaking of which, I need to give Leah her hit points back. She made it through the night. She didn't have any hit dice missing. I don't think anybody's got any hit dice missing right now. I think we got that all sorted. Yep, I think we're good here. For our 4 sort of primary combatants, who are the only people we're actually tracking right now. We're not tracking every single NPC. The only other thing that we really need to worry about did not come up in this combat, but Ott is running out of arrows. So hopefully we should be able to resupply in Split Valley Oasis because it's a huge trading post. So that shouldn't be a problem. Unless we run into a whole bunch of encounters before then and we roll really poorly on our supply dice. So, fingers crossed. And hopefully nothing terrible happens to us in the overland travel section. Other things. I think that's it. I don't think we have anything else. We did the upkeep, got everything else set. We're going into the overland travel aspect next time, and yeah, that'll be it. All right, and then so I think the next session we should probably get through all the overland travel thing. I can't imagine we won't, and we'll actually make our way all the way into Split Valley Oasis and hopefully do our meeting with Akari, and maybe we can get that home base set up. That'd be nice. Nice change pace. But what I'm gonna do right now is, well, like I said, we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna go to set some things up for doing the rest of that little bit of the stream, and then we'll jump back in and do that, but it's not going to be solo RPG related. But hang around, because we're still going to do stuff. But yeah, that's going to be it for me for right now. Like I said, take a break, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Alright? That sound good? Final moment. Any final questions before we head out? Here it goes. Are you ready? Okay, that's it, guys. Bye.